claims to show Taliban fighters flaunting American-made gear and, well, looking as NATO-like as it gets. Had it come out just a month ago, it would have been rubbished as an obvious fake. But today, it's eerily believable. Americans left behind weapons and war machines worth billions of dollars. So many, in fact, that the Taliban might not even need them all.
We don't have a complete picture, obviously, of where every article of defense materials has gone, but certainly a fair amount of it has fallen into the hands of the Taliban. And obviously, we don't have a sense that they are going to readily hand it over to us at the airport.
Getting this much advanced weaponry, including a whole air force, would have been bad enough. But misery loves company. Americans also forgot to destroy biometric devices used by the US forces to keep track of Afghan nationals.
The devices, known as handheld interagency identity detection equipment, contain identifying biometric data such as iris scans and fingerprints, as well as biographical information, and are used to access large centralized databases.
Now, among other things, these gadgets can reveal if an individual ever cooperated with the American military. Now, these people could be literally one eye scan away from death.
The embarrassment of seeing captured American systems paraded in the streets is going to be something which will haunt the US for a long time. But even worse is the fact that the US mismanagement caused Washington to abandon allies in ways which were disloyal. And this is going to make it very, very hard for the United States to gain or regain the trust of its major allies, including the United Kingdom, Australia, Japan, India, and the like.
Weapons and equipment is not the only stuff the US wasted in Afghanistan. Billions of taxpayers' dollars were dumped down the drain of failed projects and initiatives. 28 million on camouflage that makes a soldier look like a target on the shooting range. I mean, sure, as long as it looks good.
I hate to be an Afghan soldier wearing that uniform. It's sort of like "shoot me" written on the back.
Yes, the American military spent almost $30 million on a uniform with a forest design to be used in a country which has only 2% of its land covered by trees. 176 million was splashed out on a road that failed to last even a month, and not because it was bombed or anything. Parts of it were simply washed away. America also burned through $9 billion to eradicate Afghanistan's infamous poppy fields. Instead, year to year, the rates of opium cultivation showed a steady rise.
Despite the investment, the cultivation of opium poppy in Afghanistan has trended upward for 2 decades, and insecurity has made it difficult to reverse the growth.
Afghanistan developed its own ways for thousands of years. America tried to reverse its traditions and impose a new order for 20 years. So, turns out opposites do not attract in Afghanistan.
Afghanistan is really not a place that's cohesive. There are a lot of different peoples there. There are a lot of different tribes. The culture is much different than what we would expect or are used to dealing with. We often underestimate their own ability to be dedicated to remaining in control of their country and being able to move forward to do that and have the patience to do that. The failure in a lot of these interventions that turn into war and misguided, misplaced monies are because we don't think about the populations and the people. We think about interests at a much larger strategic scale and geopolitical competition, if you will, on who has more power in these regions and societies.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations. Shalom, shalom. This is your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp in Trinidad with another lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. So first and foremost, Kal Halayam La Alahayanawa Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai Ba'asham Baka Kodash. Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace, blessings, salutations unto the brothers preaching and teaching this truth through the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and the freedom to do so now more than ever. Shalom unto the speckled bird Israelites who looks like the other nations, but are Israel through their forefatherly lineage. And shalom unto the very few but faithful Akoats. This lesson is a response to my brother Yerushalayim. I forget the name of the lesson that he had done concerning the same topic. Alright, but you could go on his channel, GMS Transfiguration Spirit 07. Alright, and he would find the video. Alright, but it is a response to that video. But the name of my video here is Babylon's hammer is getting rusty. Alright, Babylon's hammer is getting rusty. And as you could see, as the years goes by, especially in this 2021 so-called, alright, the year of heralding the coming of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, alright, which was coined by our beloved Elder Apostle Taha, alright, we see in that Babylon, their hammer, their military might, it is not as mighty as it was before. Okay, let me see if I could get something here. Not this one. All right. So let's go into the word rusty now. I had us a screenshot this because Esau been doing this with my videos. Them when I go into Google whilst I'm doing my videos on Mobizen. All right. When I go into Google to look up a word and break down a word, they cuts off my audio. Alright, to cut off the audio, and when I come out of Google and go back to what I was doing, the audio comes back. Alright, so we have the word rusty here, and we have the definitions. Alright, so the first definition, alright, rusty, alright. The first definition of a metal object affected by rust, rusted, rust covered, corroded. Alright, and their hammer, which is their military might, it is corroded. Okay, it is not as nice and shiny as before. Alright, for that to happen, what take place in Afghanistan, alright, is just an example, a perfect example. Alright, the second one we have here, by lack of skill, alright, by lack of skill, impaired by lack of recent practice, alright, impaired by lack of recent practice. Alright, let me see something here. I know they go But anyhow, I know what I could do. Let me come out of this. Let me come out of this. Just bear with me. All right. So as we could see here, all right, good. All right. As you could see here, in the second definition of, all right, of knowledge or a skill impaired by lack of recent practice, all right, out of practice, not as good as it used to be, below par on practice, not what it was, neglected, deficient, all right, impaired, or weak, all right, or weak. And this this here, it defines the army, the military, the hammer of Babylon the Great, because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is weakening the military, all right, weakening Babylon's hammer, all right. That is why when you go back to the scripture, when I'm gonna go back to the scripture, let me go to Isaiah 14, and I think 14, and no, I had to go up. All right, Isaiah 14 and 10. All right, and it reads, all they that speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? All right, art thou become like unto us? All right, that military might that you had coming out of World War II, going all the way down onto the Vietnam War, all right, you were the mighty, the top notch. You were the upper echelon within your military might, all right, going all over the world and setting up your military bases, waging war against nations, and what have you. All right, but now you become weak because you're spreading your military so thin. Your soldiers just getting tired of these countless wars. All right, war after war after war after war, going into other people's countries and oppressing them. It don't get it twisted, it has take a toll on their mind, It takes a toll on their psyche. All right. So, the breed of soldiers that you have now, all right, they are weakened. They are weakened within mind. They are weakened within strength, physically, spiritually, mentally, and it's all through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Two ways around that. All right. So your military might, it is getting rusty. All right. I'm gonna grab this here. Okay, so let's go to Isaiah. Still in the book of Isaiah. Same Isaiah 47. Isaiah 47 and 1. It reads, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. And we all know who is the daughter of Babylon. Psalms 137 and 7. Yeah. It proves who is the daughter of Babylon, which is Esau Edom. Alright? Without the shadow of a doubt. So sit down in the dust, come down to that low estate. And you all have been coming down to that low estate from since the days, since in the 60s, into the 70s, the late 50s into the 60s, 70s, which was the Vietnam War. Because what you all have to realize, and brothers and sisters who is in this truth, you know, that is why praise and thank you, how about Hashem Yahushua, you know, for giving me, before I come into the truth, giving me that wisdom and that knowledge and that understanding where Babylon's military is concerned, you know, because there's nothing to boast of, you know, I ain't boasting or anything like that, you know, but I just sharing a bit of testimony, I would say, you know, because I came from a background of soldiers, you know, my father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, you know, my whole forefatherly lineage, right, was military men, you know, and it's something that fascinated me, you know, something that fascinated me, and I study, I have a good bit of knowledge, of certain wars back then, you know, World War I, World War II, you know, and what have you, so I could be able to share a bit of insight, you know. So what I want to say is this, is that the same way how they had us to hightail it out of Afghanistan, alright, there's nothing new under the sun. It's the same way they had us to hightail it out of Vietnam, of the fall of Saigon, alright, because just as how this war, the Iraq war and the Afghanistan war, was a very unpopular war amongst the Babylonians in Babylon, you know, which is America, is the same way it was an unpopular war, a very, 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 very unpopular war, where the US was waging against the North Vietnamese, all right, because it's the same thing. It was similar to the Korean War, because the Koreans, they wanted a unified Korea, all right, but the US, although that war wasn't really a win war by any, you know, it was a negotiations and a sort of a kind of peace treaty, however you want to call it, you know. But that war is going to heat back up again. But the Vietnam War is the same thing, where the North Vietnamese, they wanted a unified Vietnam, and they had succeeded. They had defeated the US. Although they lost a lot of men, the US won a lot of battles, all right. But the strategies of the Vietnamese, it had worked, you know. They didn't care how much soldiers they lost. Their victories was countered by keeping up the fight against the US and making it as bloody for them as possible. All right? Making it very, very bloody for them as possible, to the point where the people will be getting fed up, you know. You know, they will be getting fed up, you know, because there was a lot of troop surges and what have you, you know. And a lot of lengthy tour of duty. Families not getting to see their loved ones. They're not sure their loved ones will be coming back home alive, you know. So the same way, it was a very unpopular war within this Afghanistan war. All right, 20 years of war, and what have they achieved? Nothing. But at the end of the day too, the bankers and the military industrial complex, which is the elites, they don't care of whether the US had won the war or not. This war was just mainly something for them to do what? To make money. Especially the military industrial complex where contracts is concerned. Military contracts is concerned. All right? Where, you know, there will always be a supplies of arms, ammunitions, you know, uniforms, all these things. These things goes up to the cost of billions, even trillions of dollars. All right? So let's go. Come back to this. Come back to the scriptures. I ramble enough. All right. Second Esdras chapter 15. All right, and verse 28. Second Esdras 15 and verse 28. All right, just bear with me here. All right. It reads, "Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east. Wherefore the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots." All right, with many chariots. All right, because there is something I have to show you all in a bit. With many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. All right, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carmenians. Who are the Carmenians? The Iranians. All right, the Iranians. Because this is what you ought to understand. Best believe, as the US is out of Afghanistan, don't get it twisted. These Afghans, they want revenge. They want blood, and they know that they know that the US is going to come back again. Come back, I should say, back over there in the Middle East, because the US hasn't altogether left the Middle East. It just left Afghanistan because they still have bases in surrounding nation that surrounds Iran. All right, but the thing is, they know that they are going to come back. The Taliban. All right, and the Taliban will be linking. The Taliban will be linking with the Iranians. Best believe that. In order to destroy America, Babylon the Great. All right, because America is going to go to war against Iran by the way of them being allies with those Amalekites, those fake Jews. All right, this is prophecy here unfolding before your eyes. So it says, also the Carmenians raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them. With who? With the Arabians, with Hezbollah, oh gosh, who's them in Palestine? With Hamas. All right, with the Hamas militant group Hezbollah, which is located in southern Lebanon. All right. Then you have the Al Qaeda. All right. You have the Taliban themselves, along with other militant groups. All right. The scripture talks about in Genesis, you know, where the Yahbashim Yashai, oh gosh, where Ishmael is concerned, where, you know, where everybody hand is going to be against him, and his hand is going to be against everybody, you know, and he's going to be like a wild man. This is the nature of these Arabs, you know. There's a video I was taking in where they was interviewing, I can't remember who it was, I think it was RT News self, yeah. Interviewing Taliban Special Forces commander. You know, and their main rhetoric, you know, is all about martyrdom, being ready to commit suicide, you know, suicide bombers and these things, what have you, you know. Because that is the spirit Yahweh Hashem Yahshai put upon them, you know. That wild spirit. Anything goes for them. Alright? So yeah, continuing. Alright? Where it reads, right? Continuing in verse 30, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. Who is the Assyrians? Who is likened unto the Assyrians in this time here? America. America is likened unto the Assyrians. They are likened unto Egypt, Sodom, spiritually Sodom and Egypt. Alright? Babylon, because they took all the philosophies of these nations, you know, and bundle it in one. Alright? Bundle it in one, alright, and live by that, you know, which is all confusion. That's why, you know, Yahweh Hashem Yahshai call them the daughter of Babylon, because Babylon means what? Confusion. Alright, verse 31, and then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, their wild nature. Alright, I wonder if I could get a script here, boy. I gotta come out of that. No, come out of that. Genesis 16 and 12. Alright, I will start from let me see, I will start from verse 7. This is Genesis 12 and 7. And the angel of the Lord found her by the fountain of water. This is Sarah in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way of Shur. And he said, no, not Sarah, Hagar. And he said, Hagar, Sarah's maid, whence comest thou? And whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarah. And the Lord said unto her, return to thy mistress and submit thyself under her hands. Alright? And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, or Ishmael, as the Arabs say, because the Lord had heard thy affliction, and he will be a wild man. Alright? That's why they have the nature to strap up themselves with an explosive vest. Alright? And go into a building and shabababa, la, wala, Allahu Akbar, boom. Hamdulillah, boom. Yeah? That's them. Alright? That wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of his brethren. That's why that whole area, that whole so-called Middle Eastern area, alright, is mainly so-called Arabs. All right. So it says, and the dragon shall have the upper hand, and remembering their nature, their wild nature, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in a great power to persecute them. All right, and best believe that conspiracy right now, that crafty council amongst these Arab nations, these Arab groups, some of these Arab nations, and these Arabian groups, they are conspiring. All right, to do what? To nuke that false nation, that false state of Israel, and to nuke America, Babylon the Great. All right? Best believe when Iran managed to enrich the uranium to 100% to get the nuclear weapons, best believe Afghanistan is going to be having an arsenal of nuclear arms. Watch and you will see. Watch and you would see. It's going to be so wild and so buck loose that security within Babylon's borders is going to be relaxed. It is going to be slack. That, some of these Taliban fighters will be able to get into America through their borders, all right, and be able to detonate suitcase nuclear bombs and what have you. All right, watch and go see something. Continuing, verse 32. Then she shall be troubled and keep silence through their power, and shall flee. And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them and consume some of them, and in their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. Yeah, this is coming for America, man. Yeah? This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 15. It reads, Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou may look upon their nakedness. All right, because you went into Afghanistan. All right, you went into Afghanistan and spread out your wicked lies and philosophies and what have you. All right, spread out your wicked lies, your wicked philosophies, and you abandon the people. You abandon the people. You abandon the people. You bust out now because, hey, hey, you Babylon the Great. Hey, you are something coming to you. Yeah, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle, which is your wicked philosophies, and maketh him drunken also. Make them drunk, because a lot of the Afghans, they subscribe to your philosophies, your women's rights and all this wickedness. All right, that thou mayest look upon their nakedness. But what the scripture say, going continuing. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. Right? Yahweh Hashem Yahshua is making you drink drink your own cup and exposing you. All right? Just after you left, there was an Afghanistan woman who had a lot to say, because a lot of these Edomites was showing sympathy and this and that and the other, and she had us blast them and let them know you all are a bunch of freaking hypocrites. All right? Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be upon thy glory. Right? And part of your shameful spewing is You had us to run out of Afghanistan and leave billions of dollars worth of equipment, all right? Billions of dollars, all right? Then some of these Afghans and even your own allies angry with the fact that you abandoned the country, your own allies, all right? Shameful spewing, all right? Some of the Afghans, you know, they have a lot to say now concerning you leaving and abandoning them. Now here it is with this eye scanner business, all right, that the Taliban get the hands on. Now they could be able to go and do what? Check up all who was dealing with Babylon, being informants and what have you. They're going to find out and they're going to put them to death. Best believe that. All right? Best believe that. Shameful spewing shall be, you know, shall be upon your glory. It's going to be totally exposed for all your wickedness. All right? Because why? This is Habakkuk 2 and 5. No, 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also, because he transgressed by wine. Because he transgressed by wine and I give the people them to drink, right? Because he transgressed by wine. Alright? Alright, because he transgressed by wine. Alright? He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeneth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Right? You never keep it at home. You go all over the place. Set up your military bases, set up your embassies, all these things. All over the place. Alright? Continuing. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. Right? Taking the people them natural resources. You went into Afghanistan and talking about you're not only fighting the Taliban, but you're fighting war against drugs, you know, the opiums and what have you. But here it is. You have your soldiers guarding poppy fields, because a lot of your pharmaceuticals, the main ingredient for it is those same opium. That same opium we're getting from the poppies. Alright? What is the name for these tablets? Opioids. How they get the name opioid? It's from the blasted opium that they're putting in these pharmaceutical drugs, these tablets and what have you. That's why a lot of your people, they're strung out on pharmaceutical meds. Alright? Prescription drugs. Alright? Opioids. Plus, you're going for the oil, you're going for the lithium, you're going for the gold. Alright? Alright? You increase it that which is not yours. How long? Yeah, how long? And to him that ladeth himself a thick clay, which is debt. Alright? Which is debt. Because you keep on borrowing from the bankers and what have you, in order to give back to the military contractors. Alright? Your industrial military complex. To keep on supplying your military and what have you. And you're sinking your country in deep debt. America is over 33 something billion. Well, I'm sure it's more than that by now. Maybe almost 100 to 200 billion, literally in debt, where the military itself alone, we're not talking about the military itself alone, in debt. All right? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of the men's blood and for the violence of the land and of the city, and all that dwell therein. Right? Woe to him that covereth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from all power of evil. Yeah? You freaking demons. Alright? Proverbs 16. Proverbs 16. No, Proverbs 6, Salak here. Proverbs 6 and 16. Proverbs 6 and 16. These 6 things. Alright? These 6 things does the Lord hate. He is 7 an abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and him that soweth discord among his brethren. And all these things is what you Edomites are guilty of. All these things, all the above here is what you so-called white people, starting with the elites, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, what have you, these are the things that they are guilty of. All right? Proverbs 10 and 11. The mouth of a righteous man is a well of life, but violence covereth the mouth of the wicked. Yeah? Violence covereth the mouth of the wicked, because you all, you Edomites, you all are the most evil, most violent and wicked people upon the face of the earth. Psalms 108 and 13. No. Psalms 102. Let's see. I gotta leave out that. Because I had to write on the wrong thing. Alright, Psalms 52. Psalms 52 and 5. It reads, Yahweh shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take thee away, pluck thee out of thy dwelling place, and root thee out of the land of the living. Selah. The righteous also shall see and fear, and shall laugh at him. Yeah? We is going to see. Right? And we is going to laugh at you all. Yeah? Right? Lo, this is the man that made not Yahweh his strength, but trusted in the abundance of his riches, and strengthened himself in wickedness. Alright? That's what Psalm 52, what the hell do, man? But yeah, to what I have, I'll try if I'm bringing out that scripture still. Psalm 92 and 5. This is what I tell you. Alright? Psalms 92 and 5. O Yahweh, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not. Yeah? Neither doth a fool understand this. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is as they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Yahweh, art the most high forevermore. Alright? Because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is going to bring destruction upon these people. Alright? Because days with days, this is them there. This is the trust in the wickedness, The scripture talk about woe to the bloody man, that build a city. That build a city by blood. Alright? Psalms 58 and 6. It reads, Break their teeth, O Yahweh, in their mouth, and break out the great teeth of the young lions, Yahweh power. Alright? Which is what? The military might. Let them melt away as the waters. What the hell, boy? Psalms 58 and 6. Yeah. What the hell? Alright. I'm going to highlight it one time. All right. Let them melt as the waters, which run continually. When he bendeth his bow to shoot his arrows, let them be cut in pieces. As a snail which melteth, which is what thermal nuclear fire, let every one of them pass away, like the untimely birth of a woman, that they may not see the sun. Before your pots can feel the thorns, he shall take them away as a whirlwind, both living and in his wrath. The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked, so that a man shall say, surely there is a reward for the righteous. Verily, he is a power that judgeth in the earth. All right? He is a power that judgeth in the earth. I was going to our next scripture in 2nd Ezra, but I'd have to forget that for time's sake. Done 45 minutes in. So I will just go to this last scripture and then go back to our video to end it off. All right, this is Job 19. All right, and the last verse, 29. It reads, this is for you, Esau. Be ye afraid of the sword, for the rod bringeth the punishments of the sword, that ye may know there is a judgment. All right. Kal halayam la alahayanawa Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Raka Kodash. All right. Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace, blessings, salutations unto the brothers who preaching and teaching this truth through the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and the freedom to do so now more than ever. Shalom unto the speckled bird Israelites, and shalom unto the very few but faithful Akoats. This is a brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration signing out with this video here. Shalom.
Let me ask a question that everyone is asking. What has the US achieved after 20 years of war? What's the biggest highlight? They removed the Taliban from power to replace them with the Taliban. Plus, they gifted the Taliban an air force, a complete fleet, and latest weapons. And if you think this is a one-off, then think again. The world over, America has armed terror groups, some by design, others by default. I'll start with the Taliban. Look at their new air defense capabilities. The first video is from the Kandahar airport. This one. It features two iconic pieces of US military hardware, the C-208 transport aircraft, which costs $2 million each, and the MD-530F helicopter, cost $2.4 million each. Both are now in the Taliban's hands. How many do they have? Well, we cannot say. Here's a second video though. This one is from the Herat airport. It shows the Taliban boarding two Mi-17 HIP helicopters. The lowest price for this aircraft is $16.4 million per unit. 16.4 million. Here's another video, again from the Kandahar airport. It shows the Taliban with two American UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters, cost $5.9 million each. Next video from the Mazar-e-Sharif airport. It shows the Taliban posing in front of another MD-530F helicopter. I'll repeat the cost, $2.4 million. These are big, expensive war machines, and we don't know how many of these are with the Taliban now. The Afghan Air Force was operating a fleet of at least 167 aircraft, all developed and supplied by the United States of America. This included 43 MD-530 helicopters, 33 C-208 transport planes, 33 UH-60 Black Hawks, 23 A-29 light attack planes, 32 Mi-17 helicopters, and 3 C-130 Hercules aircraft. And these are the official figures, released by the US Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction. How many of these 167 are with the Taliban? Well, there's no official figure. Some of them were flown out of the country, but according to independent websites, most of these aircraft have been geolocated within Afghanistan, meaning they're still there, either with the Taliban or some other terrorist group. What will they do with this fleet? They don't know how to fly them, but they know how to force pilots to fly them. A lot of Afghan pilots have stayed behind in the country. They might be getting job offers they're not allowed to refuse. It's a dangerous situation. Scary. Terrorists in control of state-of-the-art weapons. Who is to be blamed for this? The country that wages wars to support its arms manufacturers, the United States of America. Now, Washington says that these aircraft were meant for Afghan forces. Sure they were. But did the Americans really expect the Taliban to rule the country and not touch the American war chest? Last week, 69 US lawmakers wrote to President Biden asking him questions like these. Does he have a plan to ensure the Taliban do not get nuclear weapons? They haven't got an answer, and they should not hold their breath. The fact is, America routinely arms terror groups. Wherever they go, whichever country they invade, their weapons always end up in the hands of non-state actors. In 2014, the US airdropped weapons and supplies in the Syrian border town of Kobane. The weapons were meant for Kurdish fighters. They ended up in the hands of the Islamic State. The ISIS even released a video thanking Washington for the gifts. 2019, an investigation in fact revealed that arms provided by the US to Saudi Arabia and the UAE ended up in the hands of Al-Qaeda and a variety of terror outfits in Afghanistan. You can look up the details on how exactly this happened. The same year, 2019, there was another revelation, this time in Yemen, where American-made weaponry had fallen into the hands of rival militia groups. What did they do with it? Used it against the US-backed government in Yemen. The arms even flowed into Tehran, where US weapons were reportedly studied and copied by